Hi, everybody.
Wait, not yet.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Guys, this is Yanni and that's Dee Dee, and they wanted to say hi. Before I made the video, they've had their time to shine, and I told them that was it. Deuces. Alright, guys. I love y'all. Alright. Guys, I had to make this video. Normally, I make a video about either a subject that I seen covered on the media, something that is covered in life, just so from a Christian perspective or from another perspective we can have a view on it. But this video I had to share, and I know that some of y'all been following me. I saw that I had more people watching me than I knew I did on Google Plus, and that's a blessing. Thank you for that. But today is a pivotal day, changing my life. 3 years ago, I was working and I was very upset with myself. My salary was like that of a 18, 19-year-old, and I was embarrassed and ashamed. And I would look on Facebook, or I would look in life, and I would run into friends, and they always seem to be prospering and doing so well. And I just felt like, God, when is my time? I'm tired of hearing that I'm blessed and I'm highly favored, and I'm still stuck. But what I failed to understand is that God was expecting me to step up and steward my life, because he had put the ball in my court. I just didn't understand that. I was so heavenly minded that I failed to manage what I was supposed to do on earth. Okay, and sometimes that can happen. We can either be so earthly bound that we miss God, or either we can be so high in the clouds and in heaven that we fail to realize that God is trying to get heaven to earth. He's not trying to get earth to heaven. He's trying to get heaven to earth, so that there can be a true change in the atmosphere. Well, because I became so dissatisfied, I started applying for housing. Different things happened. Section 8 came through, and I thought that was my blessing. I didn't realize that God was trying to bless me outside of the government. I was still in that old mindset. And when it came, I was so excited, but it was hard trying to balance a housing crisis and move and balance my job. So listening to different, just kind of getting advice, figuring out what to do, and then dealing with my son who was always in trouble, and just knowing I failed him as a mom, I left my job. I left my job to manage my family, to try and raise my son, and to move, and all of it fell through. I couldn't help my son. I had to send him to my mom. They had already replaced me almost, and the thing that made it crazy is when I humbled myself and realized that I missed God. My boss was willing to take me back, but she thought that they had hired somebody, and they didn't. And so we got our signals crossed, and I hate that, because her and I had such a great relationship, and although it may not have been the salary I wanted, I didn't recognize what God was doing. God was giving me the potential to excel where I was. Okay, make a long story short, on paper I looked at like I was unstable, and to an extent I was. And so manager after manager rejected me. I knew I had passion. I knew I could learn fast. I speak several languages. I knew I could do something so good with my life, but I felt like nobody would give me a chance, and I just wanted a chance. So I set out to create one for myself. I started blogging, although I had no coding skills. I started writing. I knew I was a great writer, and I knew I was passionate. I would send stuff to Tyler Perry Studios. As far as my resume, I tried to hit him up on Twitter. I tried to do different things. Nothing would come through. I knew I had all these plays, these movies, these ideas, everything in my heart. I knew I had these book ideas, but I was stuck in a rut. I was depressed. I was eating myself into oblivion, and I started getting back to the point where I was skipping church. I was shacking. I just was miserable in life. And no matter what I tried to do to get out the rut, it seemed like money. It would always come back to money. I needed money to get the business going. I needed money to get out of the situation I was in. But how can you solve a problem when you don't have the tools, or you feel you don't have the tools to solve it? So recently, I said, Father, I said, nobody is giving me a chance. I'm getting letter after letter of rejection. I said, but what recruiters and what managers don't know is even their companies belong to you. And I said, Father, Your word says that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and the inhabitants that dwell within. I said, so they don't even know you own such and such. You own such and such. And so what I said was, Father, because they belong to you, and because I belong to you, let someone who belongs to you recognize that I belong to you. And I promise you, Father, if you give me the ability to get seed in the ground, I'll run. I'll take everybody I can with me, and I'll teach them what you've been showing me. And I fill myself with books, lessons from Les Brown, Dave Ramsey, Tony Robbins, God's Word. I mean, I just would fill myself motivational, anything I could get my hands on. If it was a clip from Tyler Perry encouraging somebody, if it was a clip from Dorinda Clark, like a music, anything I could get my hands on. Even recently watching Kiara Shear sing a song, redoing the Beyonce song. Just every bit of anything I could get my hands on, just to keep telling myself that God has something great, because sometimes the enemy can beat you down to there seems like there's nothing to recover. And the sad thing about it is I can't even blame the devil for everything, because I made foolish, poor choices. I made poor choices. God gave me so many gifts, tools, and abilities, yet I didn't understand. I didn't appreciate. I didn't value them. And people from the outside in will judge you because they see you in a stuck place. And instead of them saying, how can we pray? How can we be a part of a solution? They will put their mouth on you and judge you. Okay? And what ended up happening was, I just said, you know what, God? I'm going to trust you with the whole thing. I'm going to trust you with the whole thing. The earth is yours. The inhabitants, everything. It may not be cattle. It may not be like it used to be. But God, guess what? Even UPS, the companies I applied to, even, Adecco, whoever it is, they all belong to you, whether they know it or not. So somebody will recognize you and me. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I don't have a desk, so I'm trying to prop this. Well, make a long story short, I knew I was learning so much about finances. I was like, man, I got these book ideas. I was running it by people, talking to executives, asking them opinions, asking them this, that, watching everything I can, learning different things, feeling like, let me do a crowd fund, let me do this, let me do that. Just desperate anxious to get going, because I knew life is short. Okay, and with everything that's happening in this world, we owe it to God, we owe it to others, and we owe it to ourselves to be a positive impact within the community and world around us. Don't just social media hashtag if you ain't gonna make a difference. If you're not gonna take what's in your hands and do something, then if anything, ask God to work in your heart so that you'll be willing to do something. Well, I said, you know what? I'm gonna take whatever I can get. I'm going to apply at Whole Foods, Publix, wherever I can get it, I'll get it. As long as I get seed in ground, seed time and harvest is God's principles of wealth building. He'll honor it. Okay? I applied. I went to a temp agency because I just got discouraged. Nobody was giving me a chance. And the temp agency, man, it was powerful. How good they were. How honest and so full of integrity and kindness, and they didn't judge me if I did something a little off, or because not everybody's gonna be 100% professional 24/7. We're human. Companies are run by humans, not machines. So they were kind, they were gentle, they were patient with me. And I had an interview, and they extended me based on everything, but I knew I still had to wait for placement. Guys, guess what? How about they called me and said, we want to submit you for this position, and it's for the job that I wanted, as well as I wanted to learn accounting and bookkeeping and more. So I wanted something that would challenge me because I knew I learned fast. They said, we have an interview, and it's a phone interview, but then you'll have an additional 1 or 2 more interviews after that. So I prayed. I said, God, give me what to say. I don't have all the skills, but I have passion. I love people. Customer service is a pet peeve of mine. I'm big on that. I know how to build, business. I know how to do rapport. Just give me a chance, and then out of nowhere, I had the phone interview. Guess what, guys? I didn't even have to get a second phone interview because they called me to say, you got the job. And you know what I said to him? the last time when he asked me one last question. He said, "What do you know about Excel and all this?" And I said to him, I said, "Sir," I said, "I don't know about Excel a lot." I said, "But I see there's a lot you can do and I want to learn." I said, "I've even enrolled in lynda.com. Shout out to lynda.com. I've even enrolled in Udemy." I said, "And I'm passionate and I learn fast." I said, "And I tell you this," I said, "you can find other candidates with a greater skill set, but they won't have the passion and heart that I have to serve people." And one of the assistants and managers, one of the assistants called me and said, "Nina, you got the job. I start Monday, guys. I wanted to encourage you. Be blessed. Don't give up." I wrote a statement recently on Facebook. When no one will give you a chance, create one for yourself. When the doors close, use a window. Just get access. And guess what? I promise God that I be faithful and that I won't ever mismanage what He's given me. That's my time, guys. Be blessed. Manage, steward, because you deserve it. You owe it to God. You owe it to humanity. And you owe it to yourself. That's my time, guys. Be encouraged.